Hey everyone, today we are this Mitsubishi Outlander and we need to replace the rear brake pads and the rear brake rotors. The process is similar to the front brakes and I already made a full tutorial on the front brakes, but this video is a little bit different, so let's get started. We will of course start with lifting up the vehicle and remove the rear wheel, in this Mitsubishi with a 21mm socket. From the inside of the car we will release the handbrake so that the caliper is free. Now we can see the braking pad and rotor. If we just want to check the condition of the pads, at this point it's possible to see how much material is left on the pads. To continue the job, we will remove the caliper that is connected to its supporting bracket with two 14mm head bolts. And we will move it aside. In order to compress the rear caliper, we will have to use that kit that I put a link to in the description. We will take the desired handle, the dummy pad, and one of the adapters that fits the shape of the caliper piston that we have. The kit allows us to compress a rear piston which, due to the handbrake, moves only by rotation and not by pushing it as in the front brake. We will insert the dummy pad onto the handle, turn the tool to its minimum length so that we can insert it inside the caliper, add the adapter on the tool, and adjust it inside the caliper and the piston. Then we will start turning the handle until the piston is flat with the caliper. Pay attention that the holes on the piston should face to the side and not upwards like in the video, so that we can insert the caliper without it getting stuck in the bump on the back of the pad. We will remove the support bracket, also using a 14mm wrench. Now that the rotor is completely exposed, pay attention to its thickness compared to the original thickness. Move your finger along the radius of the rotor, the gap between the rusty outer part and the smooth inner part. This is the gap created by the wear of the rotor. In our case, there are vibrations in braking at high speeds, and this is due to an uneven wear in the braking surface of the rotor itself. All that is left is to release the rotor that has been stuck on the hub, and there are two methods for this. The first one with hammer strike. It's a method that doesn't always work, is noisy, and requires elbow grease. The method that I like better is the desired one. Thread a bolt into one of the threads on the rotor and it should extract the rotor out of the hub easily. You've already come this far, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. Using a wire brush, clean the rest of the rust from the hub so that the new rotor sits on a flat surface. I recommend applying copper paste or anti-seize on top of the hub to prevent the rotor from sticking on it once again. The new rotor comes with a greasy coating from the factory, so we will lean it on the package and clean the inside with brake cleaner. Mount the rotor on the hub and using one lug nut to keep it in place. And then we can clean also the outside with brake cleaner. We will return to our support bracket, remove the old brake pads and compare the new to the old one. Not just to make sure it's the same pads, but also to see the difference in thickness comparing the old to the new. In this case, the pads had quite a bit of life ahead of them. We will clean the metal clips from any brake dust. The area we clean is where the pads move in and out, so it should be clean and flat. We will assemble the support bracket back with its 2 bolts. And before we install the new pads, apply some anti-seize on the contact points of the metal clips with the pads. We will assemble the new brake pads by putting the pad with the indicator on the inside. Before reassembling the caliper back on, apply a little more anti-seize on the back of the pads. We will return the caliper to its place and tighten the 2 caliper guide bolts. Please pay attention that just like replacing front brakes, if the grease on the caliper guides has already dried, clean them and grease them again. I recommend watching the full video I made on front brakes for an explanation of these steps, which was not done here. New rotors, new pads, and of course we also got the left side covered with new brakes, but we are not done yet. In order for the brakes to be in contact with the rotor already at the first brake, we will have to put pressure on the caliper by several presses on the brake pedal. And we will also pull the handbrake for testing and release it. Put the wheel back on. We will check that the wheel rotates freely when the handbrake is released. And now lower the Outlander back to the ground and let's go for a test drive. Okay, what I want to do is speed up to around 80 km/h and then press the brakes and see if I have vibrations on the car. Wow, the braking is way better than it was.